Hello everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fadia Salsabilla Putri. I'm student of Pancasakti University. I'm here to fulfill my assignment. Please enjoy American religious heritage. Freedom of religion in the United States. The fundamental American belief in individual freedom and the right of individuals to practice their own religion is at the center of religious experience in the United States. About 90% of Americans are Christians, about 2% are Jewish, and another 4% belong to other religious faiths such as Islam, Buddhism, and Hinduism. Religion has always played an important role in the history of the United States. The Catholic faith, introduced first by the Spanish in the 1500s, many of the cities were named by these missionaries and settlers. San Francisco, Santa Fe, and San Antonio, for example. The vast majority of the European settlers were Protestant, most from England. The development of the Protestant branch of the Christian faith broke away from the Roman Catholic Church in Europe in the 16th century because of important difference in religious belief. Catholic Pope and the priests told people what was right and wrong, and they granted them forgiveness for sins against God and the Christian faith. The development of Protestant. The Protestant insisted that all individuals must stand alone before God. Priesthood of all believers. However, Protestant formed separate churches called denomination. The large Protestant denomination in the United States: Baptist, Methodist, Lutheran, Presbyterian, Episcopalian, and the United Church of Christ. Among the early settlers who came to America in the 1600s, there were many Protestants seeking religious freedom. The desire for religious freedom was one of the strongest reasons why many colonial settlers came to America. When the Constitution was adopted in 1789, the government was forbidden to establish a national cross life and wildlife. The Protestant heritage, self-improvement. Protestantism has traditionally encouraged a strong and restless desire for self-improvement. Christianity often emphasizes the natural sinfulness of human nature. Self-help books, self-help seminars, and support groups meetings. God helps those who help themselves. Material success, hard work, and self-discipline. The assessment of material success is probably Consequently, the most widely expected form of self-improvement in the United States. The idea of mixing materialism and religion may seem contradictory. Some of the early Europe Protestant leaders believed that people who were blessed by God might be recognized in the world by their material success. They also believed that the capacity for self-discipline was a holy characteristic blessed by God. Self-discipline was often defined as the willingness to save and invest one's money rather than spend it on immediate pleasures. The belief in hard work and self-discipline in pursuit of material gain and other goals is often referred to the Protestant. Voluntarism and humanitarianism. The idea of self-improvement also encouraged individuals to contribute some of their time or money to charitable, educational, or religious causes that are designed to help others. The philosophy is sometimes called voluntarism or humanitarianism. H. Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller. The motive for humanitarianism and voluntarism. Many Americans believe that they should devote part of their time and wealth to religious or humanitarian causes in order to be acceptable in the eyes of God and in the eyes of other Americans. Born-again Christian and the religious right. The most dramatic example of the idea of self-improvement is the experience of being born again. When they truly opened their heart to God and Jesus Christ, their lives were so completely changed. It was like being born again. Conservative religious belief, politically conservative. September 11, 2001, and the national religion. The overwhelming feeling in New York was sadness, a deep, terrible sadness. The hung in the air immediately. There was an outpouring of love, charity, and patriotism around the country. This mixture of religion and patriotism is what some scholars have called the national religion of the United States. Religious diversity in the United States, a spiritual kaleidoscope. The belief that the individual, not the organized crush, should be the center of religious life has encouraged a tolerance and acceptance of all faiths. The climate of religious freedom has, of course, strengthened the development of cultural pluralism in the United States. With Clark wrote cities for trends that creating a spiritual kaleidoscope in the United States. 1. There is the change from being a Protestant Catholic Jewish nation to one with multiple religions expansive individualism. The switching of faiths from one Protestant denomination to another, or even from one faith to another. 3. There are many new religious organizational structures emerging in the United States. 4. The trend is toward a new spirituality, especially among young people prefer to identify themselves as being spiritual rather than religious. In conclusion, cultural and religious pluralism has also created a context of tolerance that further strengthened the American reality of many different religions living peaceful within a single nation. Next, I will explain a little about religious intolerance in the United States. Sorry, in explanation this time I do not have slide. Religious intolerance in the United States. Mormons, led by Joseph Smith, clashed with the Protestant majority in Missouri in 1838. Missouri Governor Reuben Books ordered that all Mormons be exterminated or expelled from the state. At Howard's Mill, Missouri, militia members massacred 17 Mormons on October 30, 1838. In the late 19th and early 20th countries, the U.S. government subsidies boarding schools to educate and assimilate Native American children. At this school, Native American children were prohibited from wearing ceremonial clothes or practicing Native religion. While most states followed federal example and abolished religious tests for public office, some states maintained religious tests well into the 20th century. Maryland, for instance, required a declaration of belief in God for all state office holders until 1961. The next, freedom of religion is protected by the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which prohibits law establishing a national religion or impeding the free exercise of religion for its citizens. While the First Amendment enforces the separation of church and state, it doesn't exclude religion from public life. From the colonial era to present, religion has played a major role in politics in the United States. The U.S. Supreme Court over the years has ruled inconsistently on matters of religious freedom, such as the display of religious symbols in government buildings. Okay, thank you for your attention. More or less, I'm forgiven because the truth comes only from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and the wrong ones come from me personally. If there is an unclear explanation, you can ask in the comments column. I will answer that much. And thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.